any objective function, either it may be a maximization or maybe a minimization problem, right? Any linear programming problem, it has a other form which is called duality, right? Primal of primal, it becomes dual. I repeat one more time, primal of primal, it becomes dual. Now, even again, let me give one more basic example to make you understand what is this duality. Okay, I think, hope maybe you know very well about that. Right now IPL is going on, right? So if it is any one particular team, before starting, right, they will even both captains will stand on the crease, right? And
Yes.
on the grease itself, right? And any one captain may throw the coin. Now, once if it is thrown, then one person may say head and one person may say about tail, right? So
Yes, sir.
if anyone say head, if it is a head, then head person is going to be decide. So who got that head, that person is going to be decide, or maybe captain is going to be decide whether they are going to be bowl or bat first, right? Now
Yes,
listen carefully. In this example, maybe Dhoni and Kohli. Where is Dhoni right now? Chennai Super King. Where is Kohli?
RCB.
RCB. Okay. Now Dhoni raised a coin and even Kohli said head. Okay. Then it is a head. Now is it necessary again to say Dhoni lost the toss?
No, sir.
No, right? So by default it may understood. Okay. So when you are playing game, right? Or maybe let us take an example. Maybe these two teams played a game, and after that maybe Chennai Super King won the match. Then no need to say again that the opponent team lost the game. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Are you following? Same thing here in the primal, right? So see, objective function, which is maybe a maximization or maybe minimization, that has a other form which is called duality. Primal of primal is called dual. Okay, any objective function which I have explained to you so far, right? Maximum z equals to 2x1 plus 4x2, or subject to constraints, right? First constraint, second constraint, or third constraint, non-negativity x1 comma x2 greater than equals to, all these LPP form, it has other form also, that is called duality. Okay, so how to change that from primal to dual, that is what we are discussing now. And after maybe it will take 45 minutes to me to explain and to solve the problems, and after that, which we are going to be start with the one more important basic topic which was listed in the universe syllabus, that is transportation problem. So we'll go ahead with the transportation problems. Okay, this is all about the schedule of this today's session. Clear? Now let me show my screen to you, which is my board. I think everyone watching my board. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Are you watching?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So see, before starting primal to dual, so some basic fundamental information you need to understand. So how to change that, right? So follow my instructions very carefully and understand the situation. If you did not understand, please ask me. Okay, clear? Now see, is it visible? Is it visible to you? Any one of you?
కొంచెం పెద్దగా రాయండి సార్.
Okay. Is it fine?
sir.
So see, primal form, standard primal form, and dual form. Okay, so any given linear programming problem which is called primal, that has to be changed into standard primal form, Okay, so once if you change from primal form to standard primal form, that has to be again changed into dual form. This is what we are going to be do. So suppose this is 7-mark question. This is 7-mark question. If external paper setter, if you want to give A, B in the second unit, okay, so they may give 7 marks. This change the given linear programming problem from primal to dual. The question may be like this, from primal to dual. Okay, so see what is primal again here. So now follow my instructions. So initially we know very well about that maximization function, right? So if it is a maximization function, right, in the primal form, constraints should be less than equals to. I think this basic funda everyone knows about this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now listen. So if the given linear programming problem, it is in the primal form, initially whatever the form which we observed even day before yesterday and even in the linear programming problems, right? So which is called primal form. Okay, so in the primal form, if the objective function is a maximization, when you are changing from primal form to standard primal form, that has to be maximization only. Okay, so if it is a primal, if the given objective function, right, is maximization, that is called a primal. When you are changing from primal form to standard primal form, right, that has to be maximization. It should be maximization. Okay, now if it is a maximization, constraint should be
Less than or equal.
exactly. Do you have any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay. No, right? Now suppose sometimes what happen, even in the objective function maximization, but the constraint may be sometimes they are going to be give greater than equals to. Okay, so even though if the objective function is maximization, right, we know very well about the basic funda, which is the constraint should be less than equals to, but whereas sometimes we are going to be get greater than equals to constraint. So if it is greater than or equals to constraint, when you are changing from primal form to standard primal form, right, that has to be less than equals to, then any one of you, can you please tell me how to change that one? Yesterday I said, day before yesterday also I said to you. Any guess?
Multiplying it with -1.
Exactly, multiply with the -1 in the both side, then that constraint may become less than equals to. Any doubts? Any doubts? If you have any doubts, please ask me now itself. So I will repeat once again. Okay, so if you understand this table which I'm going to be draw, that is what we are doing in the primal to dual. That's it. It's simplest one. Just only you need to understand this logic. So let me repeat once again. If any given linear programming problem which is called primal, so that primal form has to be changed into standard primal form. Okay, so when you are changing from primal form to standard primal form, you need to check that whether the given objective function is a maximization or minimization. Okay, so initially I'm explaining to you maximization. So if it is a maximization, constraint should be less than equals to, then even in the standard primal form, if it is less than equals to, then we'll take as it is less than equals to. That's it. Suppose in the primal form, right, objective function is a maximization, but whereas constraint is greater than equals to, but when you are changing from primal form to standard primal form, that has to be changed into less than equals to constraints. And then what we are going to be do, we are multiplying both the sides with the -1, then automatically what happens, signs may change and this constraint may become less than equals to. That's it. Okay, now so standard primal form maximum, when it is dual form, it becomes minimum. That's it. It becomes minimum. Okay, clear? Right?
Yes, sir.
So see, any given linear programming problem which is called initially primal form, that primal form has to be changed into standard primal form, from standard primal form to dual form. This is what we are doing, right, in the examination, right? So they may ask you a question like that: solve the following linear programming problem, or maybe they may ask you, given primal form, please change into dual form, or given linear programming problem, change into dual form. Like that, they may give you questions in the examination. This is not 14 marks question, this is 7 mark question. So I may say about that, if the external question paper setter, if he want to test your knowledge, he may give, or she may give this question. Otherwise, my confidence level to get this question in the examination 80%, not 100%. As I already said to you, graphical method 100%, simplex method 100%, right? Then first one, given theoretical information, changing from theoretical information to mathematical form, that is also 50 to 70%. This is also 80%. That's it. Okay, clear? So any doubts here? Any doubts?
No, sir.
So primal form, objective function maximization, constraint should be less than equals to, right? So if it is less than equals to, then when we are changing from primal form to standard primal form, it has to be maximization, right? Because it's a less than equals to, we'll take as it is less than equals to. But whereas in the primal form, constraint is greater than equals to, then if it is constraint is greater than equals to change from primal form to standard primal form, that has to be less than equals to. So we are multiplying both the sides with the -1, then automatically it becomes less than equals to. Then from standard primal form, which we did here, then it will go into the minimum in a dual form. Hope you understand. I say to you, primal of primal, it becomes dual. Primal of primal, it becomes dual. What we are doing, maximization function, from maximization function to, we are changing to minimization. So initial objective function is a maximization. When it becomes to dual, it becomes a minimization.
Sir, now we are changing in from a SPF dual form, right? So
Yes,
if we are in this we are standard primal form, we are having less than or equal to. When it is going to convert for dual form, it is going to minimum. So we
Yes.
have a symbol change, like it is going to convert for greater than equal to.
Yes, exactly.
Like we don't need to multiply it with any like -1 or
No need. We'll solve the problems. We'll solve a problem. You will understand. Okay. So if you understand this table, it is easy. I think, hope maybe you know very well about that. If it is maximization less than equals to, if it is minimization greater than equals to, that's it, right? That is basic.
Yes, sir.
Then if you know that, then this table is the most important one. And that too, if it is a primal form maximum, okay, then it has to be changed into standard primal form, and from standard primal form to dual form. So if it is primal form maximization, right, objective function maximization, then in the standard primal form it should be maximization. When it is changing from standard primal form to dual form, it becomes minimum. Okay, this basic funda you should require. If you know this, then it is easy to change from primal to dual. It's easy to you. Easiest problems. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the problem also. Now, do you have any questions
No, sir.
as of now? Now, as of now, we discussed maximization, objective function maximization. Now, let me take objective function is minimum. Objective function is minimum. Okay, so if it is a minimum, right, then obviously greater than equals to. Okay, so we may get two constraints here. One is greater than equals to, or one is less than equals to, and even equals to also, right? I will explain to you what about the equals to constraint. If you get equals to constraint, we'll solve that type of problems also. If it is greater than, right, in the primal form, okay, now standard primal form has to be maximum. It has to be maximum, right? Now any one of you, can you please tell me, now if it is a maximum, what about constraint here?
Less than or equal to.
Then what we need to do?
Multiply
Multiply.
-1 both sides.
Exactly. So multiply with the -1, then it becomes less than equals to. Then what about here? Is it necessary to change this less than equals to sign?
No,
No.
sir.
No. So we'll keep as it is. Okay, so if it is maximum here, then it becomes to dual, right? What about here? It is minimum. That's it. If you know this table, then it is easy to you to change from primal form to dual form. Do you have any questions? Please ask me now itself.
No, sir.
Shall I repeat once again?
Yes, sir. Repeat once again.
Yeah, see, any given linear programming problem, initially we called it primal form. That primal form has to be changed from primal to dual. Okay, so when it is changing from primal to dual, there is a steps. Initially primal form, from primal form to standard primal form, and from standard primal form to dual form. Okay, standard primal form to dual form. Okay, this is this is the steps. First one. So first initially which we are going to get primal form itself, from there to standard primal form, from standard primal form to dual form. Okay, now if the objective function is maximization, right, when you are changing from primal form to standard primal form, right, that has to be maximization. If it is a maximization, constant should be less than equals to, so it is less than equals to, we'll keep as it is, less than equals to, that's it. We may not change any constraint. Suppose if the objective function is maximization, constant is greater than equals to, when you are changing from primal form to standard primal form, that has to be less than equals to, because it's maximization, it should be multiplied with the both side with the -1. Now when we are multiplying with the -1 both the sides, then automatically signs may change, and by default even greater than equals to, it becomes less than equals to. Okay, now primal form maximization, and even standard primal form is also maximization. Then from there to we are going to write dual form, which is minimization. Okay, now second one, which is if the given objective function is minimum, which is in a primal form, that primal has to be changed into standard primal form. When you are changing from a primal form to standard primal form, right, it should be maximization. So if it is a maximization, constant should be less than equals to, but whereas here in the minimization, in the primal form, we got greater than equals to, whereas that has to be changed from greater than equals to less than equals to constant. When you are changing, then how to change that one? We are multiplying both the side with the -1. When you are multiplying both side with the -1, then by default what happened? Signs may change and symbol also may change. Okay, so less than equals to. Suppose in the minimization, in the objective function is minimization, and the constant is less than equals to, then no need to change in the standard primal form, because it is a maximization. As it is, we'll take that from standard primal form to dual form, it becomes minimization. Okay, so if you understand this logic, then you have 7 marks in your wallet. Okay, now suppose if it is equals to constant, that has to be less than equals to or greater than equals to. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if it is equals to constant, then we have 2 alternatives here. Either it may be less than equals to or greater than equals to. Same thing, right? We'll write both. Suppose if it is a maximization, less than, we'll keep as it is. If it is greater than, then again what we are going to be do? We are multiplying with the -1. Then we are going to be get that signs and the less than equals to same. Same here also. If it is minimization equals to constant, okay, then when you are changing from minimization to maximization, that has to be less than equals to. So we will write here greater than and less than equals to, then greater than, which we are going to be multiply with the both the sides, right, with the -1. Okay, so when you are multiplying both the sides with the -1, then by default it will we are going to be get less than equals to. Okay, so from primal form to standard primal form, standard primal form to dual form, this is what we are going to be do in the duality. So primal of primal, it becomes dual. Hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
right? So let me take one simple problem. Okay, so we'll apply the same logic. Then how we are going to be changed from standard primal form to dual form. Okay, right. Now let me take one simple problem to make you understand this primal to dual. Okay, so I'm taking one example here, which is minimum z equals to 10x1 plus 15x2 subject to constraints 5x1 plus 7x2 greater than equals to 80, and second constraint 6x1 plus 11x2 greater than equals to 100. Okay, so non-negativity restriction x1 comma x2 greater than equals to 0. Okay, this is a primal form, right? This problem is given in the primal form. So initially, which we are going to be get in the question paper, that is a primal form. Okay, any linear programming problem which you are observing, that is in a primal form. So to change from primal to standard primal form and the dual form, there is a procedure. So first we are going to be check whether the given objective function is a minimization or maximization, and the second thing, which is it a greater than equals to or less than equals to constraints. That's it, simple. Now, but whereas here, see, this is a primal form. Now the first step to change from primal to dual, standard primal form, standard primal form, right? So as per the previous table, right? So in the standard primal form, is it a maximum or minimum?
Minimum, sir.
Minimum.
Huh?
Maximum, sir.
Function is minimum, right? You are changing from primal form to standard primal form. Is it a maximum or minimum?
Maximum, sir.
Maximum, exactly, good. So maximum z equals to, okay, so it becomes, because we are changing, right, minus 10x1 minus 15x2. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Now subject to constraints, subject to constraints. Okay, so see, this is a primal form, but whereas from primal form to we are changing standard primal form, from primal form to standard primal form. When we are changing from primal form to standard primal form, which is here the maximization, constant should be less than equals to, but whereas here the greater than equals to, what we need to do?
Multiplying with minus ones, both
Minus
sides.
1. Now any one of you can please tell me. Ramana will tell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We have to multiply with minus 1 both sides are subject to constraint.
Okay.
Minus 5x1
5x1
minus 7x2
minus 7x2.
less than or equal to 80, sir.
Is it minus 80 or plus 80?
This 80.
Minus 80. Minus 80.
Minus 80, because sign may change, right? Because this is positive. Yes or no?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Right? Then Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me. Second constraint.
Second side. Minus 6x1
Minus 6x1
minus 11x2
minus 11x2
less than or equal to minus 100.
minus 100. Okay, so x1 comma x2 greater than equals to 0. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay, now see, I'm writing here, which is dual form. Okay, so how to write this dual form? So when it is primal to standard primal form, we wrote Okay, from standard primal form to dual. So when it is dual, then what about this one?
Minimum, sir.
Minimum, right? Okay, so minimum Z equals to, fine. So see, when you are writing dual form, RHS side, which is the values, that becomes objective function values. Okay, so RHS side values, it is going to become in the dual, that is an objective function coefficients of x1 and x2. So here I am writing this one minus 80W1 minus 100W2. Okay, so you may write here y also, but I am keeping here W1, W2 like that. Any doubts? Any doubts?
No,
Are
sir.
you following? If you have any doubts, please ask me. So what I did, from standard primal form I wrote, then in a dual form, right? So we know very well about that is minimum Z equals to, right? So this objective function. So objective function, the coefficient values of W1 and W2 is a standard primal form RHS side value, it becomes objective function values. That's it. This is one more logic here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, subject to constraints, right? Okay, so carefully observe how I'm going to be right. So minus 5W1, right, minus 6W2. So I'm writing these two as one constraint. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So I'm writing here, it is a greater than equals to minus 10. Greater than equals to minus 10. So see, in the standard primal form, okay, objective function x1 coefficient, now here, which is, it becomes RHS side. This becomes in the dual form objective function coefficient values, and in the standard primal form objective function coefficient value, in the dual form it becomes RHS value. Okay, now second constraint, any one of you can please tell me? Roll number 11.
Yes, sir.
Roll number 11.
Minus 7W1,
Okay,
minus level W2, greater
okay.
than equal to minus 15.
So W1 comma W2 greater than equals to 0. Right? This is a dual form. Now let me tell you logic behind that. Okay, so this is a dual form, right? Now when you are changing this, now logic, let me tell you. So if it is a minimum, now I say to you primal to primal, now logic which I am explaining to you, right? If you write this, then you are going to be get marks. That's it. This is the steps. This is a problem. That's it. Hardly, if you know the procedure, it will finish within 1 minute. If you know the logic, it's easy. You will get 7 marks if you get this question. Now see, I can write the same into maximization function. Now any one of you can please tell me maximum Z equals to? Maximum Z equals to?
80W1.
80W1 plus 100W2. Simple, that's it. Because subject to constraints, 5W1 plus 6W2 less than equals to 10, right? 7W1 plus 11W2 less than equals to 15, then W1 comma W2 greater than equals to 0. So what we did, the given linear programming problem which is in a primal form, that has to be written into standard primal form. From the standard primal form to we change into dual form. When that dual, I say to you, primal of primal, it becomes dual, right? So minimization which we change into maximization, we are going to be get. So no need to write this also. If you write this, it's better. Otherwise you can stop here itself, then you will get 7 marks. If they give 7 marks, if they give 14 marks also, you will get 14 out of 14. It will take hardly 7 minutes, but you should know the logic behind that. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions, please ask me. If you have any questions, please ask me. Shall I explain once again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, objective function is minimization. Minimum z equals to 10x1 plus 15x2. Subject to constraint 5x1 plus 7x2 greater than equals to 80. 6x1 plus 11x2 greater than equals to 100. x1 comma x2 greater than equals to 0. This is a given problem and they may ask you apply duality. Okay. Now if you get this, then first procedure and first step here, so you need to check, is it a minimization and what about these constraints? Okay, so to write in a standard primal form, okay, anyhow it was given in the minimization, so minimization 2 from the primal form to standard primal form, we have to change that in the objective function which is a maximum z equals to. So if it is a maximum z equals to, it becomes minus 10x1 minus 15x2. Then subject to constraints, which is this is greater than equals to, but whereas in the standard primal form maximization, constraint should be less than equals to change that which we are multiplying both the sides with the minus 1, okay, it becomes minus 5x1, automatically signs may change, minus 5x1 minus 7x2 less than equals to minus 80. Okay, now the second constraint which is minus 6x1 minus 11x2, because it's a greater than equals to, so to change from greater than equals to less than equals to, we are multiplying with the minus 1, so it becomes minus x1 plus minus x1 minus 11x2 less than equals to minus 100. Then x1 comma x2 greater than equals to 0. This is about the standard primal form. Now the most important logic, right, where in the standard primal form, right hand side, when you are writing in the dual form, it becomes objective function coefficient values, right? Clear? And in the standard primal form, constraints, right, which is constraint value, which is it's not in a horizontal way, right, which is in a vertical way, that vertical values which become a first constraint in the dual form. Okay, so how I wrote here, even if you are comfortable with the y1, you can write with the y1. So I wrote here w1, so it's up to you. Okay, if you are comfortable to write y1, you can write y1, but I wrote here to make you understand w1 w2 like that, any symbol. Okay, now see, minimum z equals to minus 80 w1 minus 100 w2, right? Then subject to constraints 5 w1 minus 5 w2. Now any one of you can please tell me, if I get here even one more minus 7 x1, then how about here?
Minus 7 w3, sir.
Exactly. If I get even one more, then it becomes w4. If it is one more, w5, like that. Okay, clear?
But we have to take the first constraint vertical way. In
Yes.
any problem, we need to take in the vertical form only.
Exactly. So see, 5x1, 5w1, 6x1, 6w1. So in standard primal form, right, which I have the vertical one, right, in the next dual form, it becomes my first constraint values.
And next, sir, in this actually it is maximization. So now we are going to convert it into, sorry, it is minimization. We are converting into maximization, and we are doing. If it is maximization directly.
Then again, it depends upon, suppose if it is a symbols is less than equals to, then directly we'll write dual form. That's it. No need to change this. We'll do that also.
Okay, sir.
So suppose see here maximum, fine, and they gave less than equals to,
Yes.
less than equals to, then no need to write this standard primal form. We'll directly write dual form. That's it.
Like at that time we need to write in the same way, like minus 80 W1.
Exactly. That's it. Then
At
again, if
that
you,
At
yeah,
that also this vertical column will become the first row.
yes, exactly. Okay. Now this is a second one. It becomes second constraint. Okay. So minus 7 W1, minus 11 W2, and what about this RHS value, which is an objective function values. So this values is become my RHS values in the dual form. This is the logic. Any questions? I think hope you understand this one.
Yes, sir.
So simplest one, if you know this procedure, very fast you will solve the problem, right? If you did not know the procedure, then you will get confused, and obviously you may not get the good score. So practice required. So that is what even I'm saying from past 10 days onwards. When you are solving the problem, especially QABD related oriented one, at least you need to invest 1 hour time to familiarize procedure. So if you practice, then only you may not get any confusion when you are solving the problems at the time of examination. But if you did not practice, then it's highly difficult. So at least spend 1 hour time for QABD subject. Then it is easy to you. I may give guarantee you may not fail. If you did not invest 1 hour time daily from today onwards also, then definitely will get pass marks. If you did not invest 1 hour time on QABD, then I may not give a guarantee to you. I'm asking only 1 hour of your time, solve the problems. So when I explained to you simplex method, I gave one more problem. Hardly 1 or 2 students are responding and only 1 or 2 students are solving the problems. So if that is the case, then when you sit directly in front in the examination, you will get confused. It required practice. Only one mantra to get good score in the QABD. Practice is the most important one. And when you are solving the problems, immediately in your brain, you need to get the next procedure. So logic, that's it. So linear programming problems and even transportation problems are maybe game theory, or maybe assignment problems, or maybe traveling salesman problems, or maybe PERT and CPM problems, or maybe queuing problems. Every problem which is listed in your syllabus, there is a logic. Your brain has to be switch on immediately based on the problem. Once if you saw any one particular problem, immediately you need to get that procedure without any hesitation. Then only you may finish within 5 or 10 minutes. Otherwise, you will face a problem. So which is why I'm stressing on this particular point. Practice is most important one when you are solving the problems, especially QABD. If you did not practice, even if I take 24 hours or 365 days, it's waste of time itself. Until unless you are not practicing. If you practice, then you may get good score. Otherwise, no one will help. Okay. So we'll go ahead with one more problem, right? Yeah, I'm taking one more problem here. So again, I'm taking minimum. Fine. So of course, we'll solve even maximization also. So let me take minimization again. So minimum z equals to 2x2 plus 5x3 subject to constraints x1 plus x2 greater than equals to 2, 2x1 plus x2 plus 6x3 less than equals to 6, x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 equals to 4, x1 comma x2 comma x3 greater than equals to 0. So in this problem we got three constraints, right? One is
One is greater than, one is less than, one is equal to.
so we got even combination of all. One is greater than, one is less than, one is equals to. Okay, now how to solve this particular problem? Okay, from primal to dual, same simple procedure. So again I'm writing here standard primal form, standard primal form. Okay, so if it is a minimization, then what is objective function in the standard primal form?
Maximization.
So maximization. Okay, good. Maximum z equals to roll number 14, Mamata, tell me.
Yes, sir.
Maximum z equals to
Uh, 1 minute. Minus 2x2
good, minus 2x2
minus 2x3. So it's a
minus
2 or 5?
5 minus
5x.
2x2 minus 5
I can't
5x3.
see, sir.
Okay,
X3. Yes, sir.
5x3. Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
Now subject to constraints. Subject to constraints. So the given constant is greater than equals to, in the standard primal form which we are changing, this is a maximization. What we need to do here?
Multiply with 1.
Minus 1.
Multiply with the minus
1.
1. So when you are multiplying, what about the constant here? Minus
x1
Minus
x1
x1 minus
x2
x2.
less
Minus
than or equal
x2
to 2. Minus 2.
then equals to
Minus 2.
minus 2. Then what about this constraint?
We'll write as it is.
Yes, exactly, because it's a less than equals to, no need to change. So we'll write as it is 2x1 plus x2 plus 6x3 less than equals to 6. But whereas this is an equals to constraint, okay, as I already said to you, right? So if it is equals to constraint, we'll write x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 less than equals to 4, x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 greater than equals to 4. Okay, but whereas this has to be changed, right? Because it's greater than equals to constraint. Okay, now if it is a greater than equals to constraint, we can write this minus x1 plus x2 minus 3x3 less than equals to minus 4. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Clear? So what we did here, see, first one greater than equals to, but whereas in the standard primal form it has to be maximum. So if it is a maximum, less than equals to constant, so we multiply the both side minus 1, minus x1 minus x2 less than equals to minus 2. Clear? Now the second constraint is less than equals to only, because from the primal form to standard primal form, so no need to change. It's a less than equals to, we will keep as it is 2x1 plus x2 plus 6x3 less than equals to 6. But whereas third constraint is equals to constraint, so we wrote here x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 less than equals to 4 and x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 greater than equals to 4. Okay, so because standard primal form objective function is a maximization, if it is less than equals to, we'll keep as it is. But whereas this one has to be changed because it's a greater than equals to, so multiplying both sides with the minus 1, then minus x1 plus x2 minus 3x3 less than equals to minus 4. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Now non-negativity restriction, x1 comma x2 comma x3 greater than equals to 0. That's it. Okay. Now what is next step?
Dual form.
Dual form.
కనిపిస్తలే సార్ పైన రాస్తున్నారు.
Okay, just I wrote here. I think, hope maybe you understand dual form. Okay, fine. Because space may not be sufficient, which is why I wrote here. Dual form, right?
Yes sir.
Right? So in a dual form, if it is a maximization in the standard primal form, how about here?
Minimization.
So minimum z equals to
minus 2w1
minus 2w1
minus 6w2
plus 6w2.
okay, plus
Okay.
6w2
Minus 2w1 plus 6w2
plus 4w3
plus 4w3. So we are not considering here. We are not
minus
considering this
4w4.
because we changed this. We are considering this. Okay. So we are considering this, this, and this, and this. Now minus 4
4w4.
4w4. Good. Now subject to constraints. Subject to constraints.
Minus x1
No, minus y1 or w1.
okay minus w1
Minus w1.
plus 2w2
Exactly.
plus
Mm.
w1 plus w1
Plus w3
w3 minus w4
minus w4. Now greater than equals to. Okay. Now what about this right hand side value? Any one of you?
2x2
It's x2, right?
only 2 sir,
Sorry?
only 2 only.
There is no x1 here. There is no x1 here. That is the logic behind here. There is no
One is-
x1. So x1 becomes 0. That's it.
yeah 2
X1. Sorry. Here they gave, which is
Minus
x2. They gave x2. There is
Yeah.
no x1.
okay sir okay
So x1 becomes 0. Okay. So this is 0. Because they did not give in the problem, right? They gave directly 2x2 plus 5x3. There is no x1.
okay sir
Right? So I'm including each and every. You may get this type of questions in the examination. Maybe if you write minus 2, then obviously in the next constraints you are going to be get confused because x2 is there, x3 is there. Then if you write first one 2, second one will become 5. Then what about third one, x3 value? Okay. So you need to check thoroughly when you are solving the problem. Okay, clear? Now next, roll number 17. Next constraint.
Here x3 is not there.
Next constraint. How to write next constraint? What is next constraint? Tell me.
6w2. Sir, there is no x3.
X2 is there, right? We are writing x2. We are writing x2 values. We are writing x2 values, right? 1, 2, 3,
Mi-
4.
minus w1
Minus
w1
w1.
plus w2
Exactly.
minus w3
Minus w3
plus w4
plus w4 greater than equals to.
minus 2.
Exactly. Good. Vamshi.
sir.
Yeah. Tell me. Next constraint.
Sir, there is no x3 value in first
There is no
constraint.
x3. There is no x3 in the first constraint.
Yes,
So
sir.
the logic is here. You may write 0 w1 or
Okay.
you may skip this one. So for you, for understanding purpose, I'm writing here 0 w1 because there is no there is no x3 in the first constraint. So which is why I'm writing here 0 w1. Even if you multiply with anything, it will become 0 itself, right? Clear?
Yeah sir.
Yeah. 0 w1. Now next.
మీ హ్యాండ్ అడవచ్చు సార్.
Sorry. Right.
ప్లస్ 6w2
6W2
Plus 3W
yeah plus 3W3
minus 3W.
minus 3W4 greater than equals to minus 5.
Minus 5, yeah. Okay.
Minus 5. So non-negativity restriction W1 comma W2 comma W3 comma W4 greater than equals to 0. So this is a minimization. Then again, if you want to write maximum, then it is going to be changed. That's it. Clear? So given a primal form which was changed into standard primal form, from standard primal form to dual form.
Sir, is it necessary after this step we need to write maximization on the in exam?
No need. You can stop here itself. So to make you clear how it will be look like, then I wrote in the first example. That's it. You may stop here itself. Even if you want to write, it's up to you. If you have a time, it will take 1 minute time. That's it. If you know the procedure, even if you write that also, that you are showing that yes, I know what is the logic behind this particular problem, and you were giving a good impression to the evaluator. Then evaluator, without checking that, you will get 7 marks if it is 7 marks question. If it is 14, of course they may not give 14 marks question. This one, it is only 7 marks, so we'll get 7. That's it. But for the examination purpose, this step, up to this step, is enough. Any questions?
No, sir.
Right? Okay. Now let me take one more problem. Shall I rub this one? Shall I?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us see how many of you tell the answer. This I will ask to one by one, so that student has to respond. Okay. So now I'm taking maximum z equals to x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 subject to constraints x1 plus x2 plus x3 less than or equals to 10, 2x1 minus x3 less than or equals to 2, 2x1 minus 2x2 plus 3x3 less than or equals to 6, x1 comma x2 comma x3 greater than or equals to 0. Fine. See, primal form they gave, which they are asking us to change from primal to dual. I say to you, any primal of the primal, it becomes dual, right? So maximum z equals to x1 minus x2 plus 3x3 subject to constant x1 plus x2 plus x3 less than or equals to 10, 2x1 minus x3 less than or equals to 2, 2x1 minus 2x2 plus 3x3 less than or equals to 6. Now, any one of you, or else let me ask roll number 37, Akhila. Akhila?
Sir, Akhil, sir.
Okay, Akhil. Fine. Roll number 37. Akhil. Akhil, now, is it necessary to write standard primal form?
No need, sir.
Why?
Because it's maximization
Yeah, good.
and the constant is less than or equal to.
All constant is less than or equals to. That's it. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Now, Shravani.
Yes, sir.
So I'm writing dual. So we are writing directly dual form because there is no change, because all constants is less than equals to. Okay. So what is my objective function here?
Sir, I can't see the objective function up.
maximum z equals to, which is x1 minus x2 plus 3x3. Okay. Now subject to constant x1 plus x2 plus x3 less than equals to 10. Second constant 2x1 minus x3 less than equals to 2. Third constant 2x1 minus 2x2 plus 3x3 less than equals to 6. Okay. Now my dual form. Is it maximum or minimum?
Maximum, sir.
Dual form. I'm not writing standard primal form.
Sorry, dual form is minimum.
Minimum, right? Exactly, good. So minimum z equals to
Z is equal to x1. Sorry, W1. W1
No,
which
sir.
W1?
10W1, sir.
Sorry?
10W1.
Who said this one? Roll number 11.
Yes,
Kavya.
sir. Yes, sir.
Good. 10W1 because we are directly writing this right hand side because we no need to change, right? So 10W1. Now tell me, Savani, 10W1
plus W2.
plus
W2.
2W2.
2W2.
2W2
There is 0
Yes.
in the W3.
6W3.
6. Okay, sir. I did not know.
6W3. 6W3. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, roll number 38. Roll number 38.
Yes, sir.
Subject to constraint.
W1.
2W1.
W1, sir.
Yeah, exactly. W1
Plus 2W2
plus 2W2
plus W3.
plus 2W3
Yes.
plus 2W3 greater than equals to
1.
yeah, exactly, greater than equals to 1. Greater than equals to 1. Okay. Now roll number 22.
Yes, sir.
Roll number 22, second constraint.
Minus 0W2 minus 2W3.
No. This one, first one. First one is the first constraint.
Okay. W1 plus
W1
2W2
plus,
plus 2W2
is there 2 x2 is there here? There is no x2
no,
here.
0W2, sir.
Yes, exactly. 0W2 0W2
Minus
minus
2W3
2W3
and
greater than equals to
1,
Minus-
1, sir.
minus
Minus
one,
1.
minus 1. Okay. Now third constraint. Who will tell roll number 7?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
W1
W1
minus W2.
minus W2.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So minus W2
Plus 3W3
plus 3W3.
greater than or equal to 3.
Exactly. So non-negativity restriction W1 comma W2 comma W3 greater than equals to 0. That's it. Okay. So same procedure. So suppose if you get the maximization and any constant is greater than equals to, then we are going to be write standard primal form from standard primal form to dual form. If you have any questions, please ask me. If no, we'll go ahead with the next procedure and most important procedure in the second unit. Important method. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
No, right? Fine. So with this, we successfully completed linear programming problems. Let me tell you 7-mark question initially which we did. Convert given theoretical problem into linear programming problem. That is also 7 marks question. And this is primal to dual is also 7-mark question. 14-mark question they may give you, right? Which is either maybe a graphical method or maybe a simplex method. That's it. %, pakka guarantee, which is simplex method. You can lock kar dalo. Okay.
Sir, simplex method PDF you didn't forward us, sir.
I will forward now after this session.
Okay, sir.
Okay. In that, which you have even theory and even problems which I solved, and even few more problems which is solved by the student in that book is also there. My sincere request to you people, please keep that PDF or material in front of you. Take simplest problem, first problem, solve that problem repeatedly to understand the procedure. Now then go ahead with the second problem. So I have given like that. Simplest problem first, then after that somewhat difficult and even most critical problems like that, right? So don't go ahead with directly critical problem. Just solve a basic problem to understand the procedure, then the next problem like that. So in that I think you have more than 4 or 5 problems. So please solve those problems. I'm using those problems from the JK Sharma and SD Sharma. For the QABD standard book is either maybe JK Sharma and SD Sharma. Any professor, he or maybe she, if he want to give questions, right, they may take from that book itself. I may give guarantee to you, if you solve my problems, right, whatever the problems which I have given to you in the PDF, right, if you solve those problems, right, maybe if you are lucky, you may get same problem without changing any value, because the standard problems they may take. Even professors may not give any other values. They may not change. If they change, again they need to work out. It will take time for them, so they may take from the books itself. So standard books for this QABD, which is 2 books, that is JK Sharma and SD Sharma. So whatever the problems which I'm solving, all those problems from JK Sharma and SD Sharma itself. Okay.
Sir, can you please forward the recording of simplex method?
Yeah, I will forward. So I said before starting the session itself, right, because it will take time, 1 hour, and again attaching 1 hour. So whenever I'm getting time, I will download and I will forward. And at the same time, even once if I attach that, it will not, because it's a huge space, right? So it is not directly accepting to send. So I will send through the Google Drive. Then again it will ask permission. Once if you want to watch, then again you need to send message to me, right? Then I will get message and I will give access to you to watch that video. Okay, this is a procedure. As of now, I think I forwarded first initial video. I think only 2 students opened. When they opened, it was asking permission, and they sent permission to me, and even I gave permission to those guys also. Joseph, did you check? Because I gave permission. Yes or no? No, sir. Last 2 days or 3 days onwards, I'm enjoying. Yes? Joseph, are you there? Kahan hai bhai? Okay, fine. So do you have any questions as of now in your linear programming problems? No, right?
No, sir.
Fine. So now one more important concept, that is called transportation problems. Okay. So what is this transportation problem? right? See, any company or any organization, if they produce products, okay, that products has to be sent from one location to another location. When they are sending goods, okay, from one location to another location, then definitely they are going to be incur some transportation cost. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
We have to minimize the transportation cost. Okay, hope maybe you know very well about that. Plant located in somewhere and warehouse located in somewhere, and they need to send that goods which was produced in the plant and to plant to warehouse. So to send from plant to warehouse, then obviously they are going to depend upon any transportation, and the transportation cost has to be less. So that is what we are doing in the transportation problems. Okay, so see here a basic terminologies which I'm explaining to you. Listen carefully. So here which we are going to be use M. M means which is origins, origins, or source, or rows in the problem. Okay, so what is M means? M means origin, or we may say about the factory or plant location. Okay, origins, or maybe source, or maybe in the problem which we say rows, M rows, right? And N, what is that? Destinations, destination, or maybe columns. Okay, so what is M means? Either maybe origin, or maybe source, or maybe factory, right? Or in the problem which we are going to be mentioned, M rows, and N by default which is destination. So M is factory location, N is warehouse point, or maybe retail point, or maybe distribution point, or maybe any point in the transportation. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So M, N. Okay, so M rows and N columns, M rows and N columns. Okay, when you are solving the problems in the transportation problem, okay, you should get allocations which is M plus N minus 1 condition, M plus N minus 1 condition. Okay, let us take an example. M is 6 rows, N is 6 columns. Okay, so when you are solving transportation problem, right, so they gave 6 by 6 table, right, M rows and N columns. Your allocation should be M plus N minus 1. So 6 plus 6 minus 1, how much? 12 minus 1, it becomes 11. So you should get 11 allocations in the transportation problems. Okay, this condition is called, which is non-degeneracy, non-degeneracy or degenerate, non-degeneracy or non-degenerate. Any questions? Please ask me now itself. Any questions? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see, if they gave you 6 by 6 matrix or 6 by 6 problem, right? So M is 6 rows and N is 6 columns. Okay, so M plus N minus 1 condition you need to get. That means M plus N minus 1 allocations you need to get. So 6 plus 6, which is 12, right? 12 minus 1, which is 11. So you should get 11 allocations. So if you get 11 allocations, then it's called non-degeneracy or non-degenerate. Suppose if you get less than M plus N minus 1 condition, that is called degeneracy or degenerate problems. Okay, did you understand this?
Sir, if we get greater than?
You may not get. Vamshi,
Sir.
you may not get greater than.
Okay, sir.
Always you will get less than this, or else matching with m plus n minus 1 condition. Okay, you may not get greater than that. Okay, now let me tell you. So what I'm saying about that, listen carefully. 3 rows, 3 columns. Okay. 3 rows, 3 columns, right? So what I'm saying about here, allocations means, so if it is 3 plus 3, now I'm saying I'm taking m plus n minus 1 condition. So how many allocations you need to get?
5.
5.
6 minus 1, 5 allocations. Okay, so I'm saying about that this is one allocation and this is one allocation, second, third and fourth and fifth. That's it. Okay, you may not get more than this point or more than 6. By default you may not get. Okay, there may be a possibility, to get less than this 5. If you get 4, then that condition is called degeneracy. Is it fine? Did you understand?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
please explain one.
Yeah, let me explain once again. See, in the transportation problem, okay, so usually what happened, factory located in some place, right, and warehouses located in some other place. So whatever the goods was produced in the factory, that goods has to be sent from factory to warehouse. Okay, to send from factory to warehouse, where we are depending upon transportation. So in the transportation problem, we are trying to reduce the transportation cost. Which route may give us less cost rather than incurring higher cost. Okay, clear? Now, so what is M? M means origin. I said already, factories or maybe sorts or maybe rows. In the problem, M rows. N means which is destination place, warehouse point, or maybe columns. Okay, so in the transportation problem, when you are solving the problem, most important one, right, you should get m plus n minus 1 condition allocations. M plus n minus 1 allocations. So suppose I give an example. If you have they gave 6 rows and 6 columns problem, right? So m 6 and n is 6 plus 6, which is minus 1, 12 minus 1, 11. So you should get 11 allocations in the problem. Then if you get m plus n minus 1 condition, then it is called non-degeneracy or non-degenerate problem. Suppose if you get less than m plus n minus 1 condition, that is called degeneracy or degenerate. Fine? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now let me take one more example to make you clear how we are going to be work out the problems. And before explaining that work out the problems, now let me explain to you how the transportation problem look like and how we are going to be get the values. Okay, now I'm explaining one example to you. If you understand this, then it is easy to you how we are going to be get that values, and so can that you may not get any confusion in the next class onwards. Okay, now follow my instructions. I'm giving one example here. So see, one factory, okay, is which I'm talking about source. So what is the source means, which is M, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now even that factory has few warehouses also. Warehouses, okay, is also called destination. Okay, now see, ABC company, I'm talking about ABC company, right? It has few sources and few destinations. Okay, so that ABC company factory located, one is in Chennai, and one is Coimbatore, and one is Madurai. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So ABC company factory located, one is at Chennai and one is at Coimbatore and one is at Madurai. Okay, so Chennai factory can produce or can supply goods, which is capacity, which I'm talking about, 6,000. How many? 6,000. Coimbatore, which is 5,000. 5,000 units or 5,000 products, right? Madurai, 4,000 units of products can supply. Can supply means they can produce. Did you understand this example?
Yes, sir.
So ABC company factory located at Chennai and even Coimbatore and Madurai. So Chennai factory can supply goods 6,000. That means their capacity, Chennai factory capacity, which is 6,000, Coimbatore capacity, which is 5,000, and Madurai capacity, which is 4,000. Is it clear? Now destination. That means the same ABC company warehouses they have, one is at Bangalore, right? And one is at Hyderabad, and one is at Cochin, and one is at Goa. Fine, right? Can I know the strength? Okay, 15. Fine. Okay, so hope you understand. This ABC company has 3 factories at various locations, and even they has warehouses in various places. One is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Cochin and Goa. Okay, so demand of these warehouses, which is Bangalore 5,000, Hyderabad 4,000, Cochin 2,000 and Goa 4,000. Okay, clear? Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Now see, Chennai factory can send goods to Bangalore, Chennai factory can send goods to Hyderabad, Chennai factory can send goods to Cochin, Chennai factory can send goods to Goa. Is it clear?
Sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now same thing again, Coimbatore can send goods to Bangalore, Coimbatore can send to Hyderabad, Coimbatore can send to Cochin, Coimbatore can send to Goa. Okay? Right? Now Madurai also can send goods to Bangalore, can send to Hyderabad and Cochin and Goa. Okay? Now Chennai want to send goods to Bangalore, right? If they are depending upon any transportation, then they are going to be incur cost, which is 5 rupees. Okay, from Chennai location to Bangalore location to send the goods, which is they are going to be incur 5 as a transportation cost, and Hyderabad location, which they are going to be incurred 6, and if they want to send from Chennai to Cochin, which they are going to be incur 9, and Chennai to Goa, which they are going to be incurred 7. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now Coimbatore. Okay, so Coimbatore factory want to send goods from Coimbatore to Bangalore, which they are going to be incur cost, which is 7, right? Transportation cost. From Coimbatore to Hyderabad 8, and Coimbatore to Cochin, which is 2, and Coimbatore to Goa, which is 4. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now Madurai to Bangalore, which is 6, Madurai to Hyderabad, which is 3, and Madurai to Cochin, which is 5, and Madurai to Goa, which is 3. Now, any one of you can please tell me what is this 5, 6, 9, 7, 7, 8, 2, 4, 6, 3, 5, 3?
Transportation cost.
Transportation charges.
Transportation cost. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone wrote this example in your paper?
No, sir.
No or yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
who is
sir.
that? Yes, who is that?
Jansi, sir.
Huh?
Jansi, rule number 7.
Jansi, roll number 7. Did you wrote this one?
Yes, sir.
Fine, good. So Jansi is going to be help us. Now I am rubbing this. Is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand this? What I wrote here? So ABC company has factory different locations. One is Chennai, Coimbatore and Madurai. So Chennai factory has a capacity which is 6,000. Coimbatore factory may produce 5,000 and Madurai may produce 4,000. And even they have warehouses various places, right? Which is one is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Cochin and Goa, right? And the demand of the Bangalore warehouse is 5,000 and Hyderabad demand which is 4,000 and Cochin demand is 2,000 and Goa demand is 4,000. Now suppose if the Chennai factory want to send goods from Chennai to Bangalore and Chennai to Hyderabad, Chennai to Cochin and Chennai to Goa, they are going to be incur different transportation cost. Okay. Jansi, I think you did not miss each and every value, right? You have.
Yes, sir.
Now, now I'm making this as a table. Right? So I'm writing here which is supply. Fine. So see, we have 3, right? One is Chennai, one is Coimbatore and one is Madurai factories, right? So Chennai, Coimbatore and Madurai. Is it clear? So how many destinations we have?
4 destinations.
4.
Destinations we have 4, right? One is Bangalore, one is Hyderabad, one is Cochin, one is Goa.
Goa.
Okay, fine. Now, demand of Bangalore. Any one of you? I think roll number 7.
5,000.
5,000. What about Hyderabad?
4,000.
What about Cochin?
2,000. 2,000.
What about Goa?
4,000.
What about capacity of Chennai?
6,000.
Supply 6,000.
6,000,
5.
right? 5,000,
4,000.
4,000. Okay. Now, I think roll number 7. Chennai to Bangalore, how much cost they are going to be incur?
5.
5. Chennai to Hyderabad,
6.
Chennai to Cochin,
9.
Chennai to Goa,
7.
Coimbatore to Bangalore,
7.
7.
Coimbatore to Hyderabad,
8.
Coimbatore to Cochin,
2.
2. Okay, Coimbatore to Goa,
4.
4.
Madurai to Bangalore,
3.
Madurai to Bangalore, 6. 6.
3.
Madurai to Hyderabad, 3.
5.
Madurai to Cochin,
5.
5. Madurai to Goa.
3.
This is your transportation table. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So you are going to get the problem like this. Okay. Now, first step in the transportation problem, you have to check demand and supply is equal or not. Now see, 6 plus 5, 11, 11 plus 4, 15. Okay. Now 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 2, 11, 11 plus 4,
15.
15. So it is not matching. So this is called unbalanced transportation problem. So to balance this, okay, suppose if you add,
Sir, demand and supply are equal only, no, sir? 15, 15.
15.
6 plus 5, 11, 11, 15. Okay, 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 2, 11. Okay, 15 equal. Yes, fine. So demand and supply is equal right now. So if it is equal, then we'll go ahead with the problem. Suppose if it is not equal, then suppose let us take an example here 15,000 and here which is 14,000. Then what we need to do? We have to add one more row. So you have to add one more row here, and that is called dummy row, and we'll take here the 1000 and we'll take value 0, 0, 0. That's it. That is called unbalanced transportation problem. So when you are solving any transportation problem, right, so you have to check first demand and supply is equals to or not. If it is not equals to, then we have to make it equal. So how to make it equal? You need to find out, is it a row or column? So if it is row, add row and the remaining balance amount which are going to be mentioned, and the values of that particular row, it becomes 0, 0, 0 itself. Then even if it is a column, add one more column and make it a balance and make it zeros and it become equal. Then you can start the problem. Do you have any questions as of now? I think hope you understand how we are going to be get transportation values. So you are going to be get this type of problems in the examination. So you may not get confused.
Get the problem in this table form or in the one which you explained?
No. You are going to be get in this table form itself. They may not ask you to make like this table. They may give you directly this table. They may give directly this table in the examination. Is it fine? Now any one of you can please tell me what is this 8?
Transportation cost
Between?
Coimbatore and Hyderabad.
Yes. So Coimbatore plant to Hyderabad warehouse, which they are going to be incur 8 as a transportation cost. Okay, clear? So when ABC company, if they want to supply goods, then which one is the best one to meet demand and supply? So can that to reduce total transportation cost. This is about your transportation problems. Is it clear? Shall I rub this one?
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions, please ask me. Now, see, in the transportation problems, right? So first we need to find out initial basic feasible solution. Initial basic feasible solution. To solve initial basic feasible solution, we have 3 methods, right? First one, which is called north-west corner method. First one is northwest corner method, is also called stepping stone method. Remember names, even alternative names also, right? This is also damn sure question, 100%. If you are lucky, if they ask you to solve the following transportation problem by using northwest corner method or least cost method or Vogel's approximation method, so you are lucky. Suppose if they asked you optimality, then it will take time to you. And again, it depends upon how well you practice the problems. Is it clear? What is that first method which we have?
Northwest corner method.
Northwest corner method is also called
Stepping stone method.
Stepping stone method.
second one, which is lowest cost entry method. Lowest cost entry method or least cost method or matrix minima method. Okay, first one, northwest corner method, is also called stepping stone method. Second method, under initial basic feasible solution, lowest cost entry method or least cost
method
or matrix minima method. Matrix minima method. See, if I am the external question paper setter for JBIT, then definitely I may not give northwest corner method, least cost method. I may use stepping stone method or maybe matrix minima method, like that, to test your knowledge. So please remember alternative names also. So don't give a chance, because it's easiest one. Just if you know these names also, that is easy to you to solve the problems. Simplest problems, right? And the third one, which is one more, called Worzel's approximation method. In the short form, it is called WAM, Worzel's approximation method or unit cost penalty method. Unit cost penalty method. Okay, most probably 99% or 90% they may ask you northwest corner method, least cost method, WAM method. Everyone knows about these names. But suppose if a professor want to test your knowledge, they may give stepping stone method or matrix minima method or maybe unit cost penalty method. So then definitely you may confuse. So remember alternative names also. Okay, how many methods we have under the initial basic feasible solution?
3 methods.
What is that first one?
Northwest corner method.
Or stepping stone method.
Or
Stone method.
What is the second one?
Lowest cost
cost
entry.
Least cost method or matrix minima method.
What is the third one?
Worzel's approximation method or unit cost penalty method.
Okay, now, so see, initially they may ask you, solve the following problem by using northwest corner method or least cost method or maybe WAM method and find optimality. So when you are solving problems in QABD, especially in the examination, so you have to read thoroughly what they asked and understand and apply. Sometimes what happens, some students, they know very well about this, even optimality also. Even if professor did not ask optimality, you will apply optimality because you know the procedure and you will waste 10 to 15 minutes time. Once if you come out, then you will check again. So they may not ask optimality and you wasted the time. So read carefully and apply appropriate procedure and appropriate method. If they ask, show the answer. If they did not ask, even though if you know, simply keep aside. But few students, because they know very well about that and even they practiced, because I practice very well and let me show my knowledge on the paper. No, don't give, because even you are wasting your most valuable time. Okay, clear? So see, to find initial basic feasible solution under transportation problems, we have 3 methods: northwest corner method, least cost method, Worzel's approximation method. And we have even one more method which is called optimality. To show optimality in the transportation problems, we have one method which is called Modi. Not our Prime Minister Modi, right? So Modi means, which is MO, modified distribution method. What is Modi? Modified distribution method, right? Or UV method. 100% you are going to get this problem in the examination. Okay, as I already said to you, suppose if professor is showing some concern on you, then he may give only these 3 methods. If you get these three, then it is easy to you to solve the problems within 10 minutes. That's it. But they may ask you apply any one method and show optimality. Then again you need to work out one more method which we have, that is called MODI method. This is about problems which we have and which was listed in your transportation problems. Any questions? Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
So under IVFS, we have three methods. Under optimality, we have one more method. Okay. In the second unit, right? How many methods we have in the linear programming problem? Mathematical form and even graphical method and even simplex method and duality. Now in the transportation problem, we have northwest corner method, least cost method, Vogel's approximation method, and to show optimality, we have one more method which is called MODI and or maybe UV method. That's it. So if you know all these methods, then you may get 14 plus 14, 28 marks. Anyhow, first unit theory. So of course you will attempt 14 plus 14. Of course, if it is theory, then 10 plus 10, 20. 28 plus 10, sorry, 20, 48. Your job is done. When? If you practice thoroughly all these problems. Okay, clear? Shall we go ahead with the northwest corner method? Shall I explain to you?
Sir.
So we have 10 minutes time still. So let me take one simple problem to explain to you northwest corner method. Okay. So let me take values like this. Do you have any questions? Please ask me. No questions?
No, sir.
If no questions, either you completely understood or not understood. Which one? Which one is correct? Whether you completely understood or not at all understood. Which one is true?
First one, sir. Completely understood.
Completely understood. Okay, good. So I'm taking simple values here to explain, right? Northwest corner method. Okay, fine. So which is 3 rows and 4 columns. 3 rows and 4 columns. Right? 3 rows, 4 columns. Fine. So which is factory 1, factory 2 and factory 3, warehouse 1, warehouse 2, warehouse 3 and warehouse 4. Okay. So demand and supply. Right. So first one, which is 2358, 2358, 7346, 4172. I think hope you understand, right? What is this values? What is this values?
Transportation cost.
Transportation cost. Okay. So demand of warehouse 1, which is 6, 8, 9 and 15. Okay, 15. Then F1, which is supply, that is 8, 10 and 20. So any one of you can please tell me, is it a balanced one or unbalanced one? 20
Balanced.
30, 38. Okay. 15 plus 9. 24. 24.
Plus 8, 32.
32. 32 plus 6,
38.
38. So it's balanced, right? So we got 38. Even demand and supply is also matching. So that is the first step in the transportation problem. So you need to check that whether it is matching or not, demand and supply. If it is matching, fine. So demand and supply is equal, right? Then next. So first step to find out initial basic feasible solution under northwest corner method. Under northwest corner method. Simple, right? This is the most simplest method, right, in the transportation problem. Now see, before starting, okay, I'm assuming this is x11, and then what about this one?
X2.
X11, this is x12, this is x13, this is x14. Then what about this one?
X21, X23, X2.
X22, X23, X24, X31, 32, 33, 34. Hope you understand. Clear?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Yeah. Now, see, now I'm going to use the terminology. So where it is going to be allocate x11 or x12 or x13, x14 like that, or x21 or x22 or x23, x24 or x31 or x32 or x33 or x34 like that. Okay, clear? Now see, when they gave you problem like this under northwest corner method and they asked you to solve the problem based on by applying northwest corner method, simple. First you have to start from the x11. Okay, forget about this particular values, which is a transportation cost. So you have to start from here, x11. Okay, so when you start from here, right, so again you need to check demand and supply values under F1 row and W1 column. So what is demand?
6,
6. What about supply?
8.
8. So when you are allocating in the x11, right, simple funda, so you have to take minimum value. So first one, x11, I'm assigning 6 because 6 and 8, which one is the minimum?
6.
6, right? So when you assign here, then you have to subtract 6, then we'll get 2.
2.
Okay, clear? Now 6, right, demand of W1 6, it was already matching. Then in the x21 or x31 may not be possible to enter, so by default which you are going to be cancel this particular row. There is no further allocations in that W1. Is it clear? If you have any questions, please ask me.
Yes, sir.
Right?
సార్ ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయి సార్ ప్లీజ్.
Ramana, see,
సార్
yeah, I will explain, Ramana. Now see, in the northwest corner method, right, first blindly we'll take first one, that is x11.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay, so when you take this and forget about this particular values, right, just see and just check only 2 values in that row. Supply, how about supply value, Ramana?
8 సార్.
What about demand?
6 సార్.
So which one is the least?
6.
So allocate that value.
ఓకే సార్.
Now suppose here 7 and here 8,
ఎస్ సార్, వీ హ్యావ్ టు అలొకేట్ 7 సార్.
which is 8 and 9, which one you will allocate?
8 సార్.
That's it. Okay, so when you are allocating, then that corresponding row or column, that value you are subtracting, because 6, right, you allocated here 6, then you have to subtract here 6.
ఓకే సార్.
6, it becomes 2.
ఎస్ సార్.
Is it clear?
ఎస్ సార్.
Now, so there is no possibility in the F1 because the demand is 6, it was matching, so we'll not enter any value in that F1.
ఓకే సార్.
Is it clear?
ఎస్ సార్.
Now we'll go ahead the second, x21. X21 or x12? X12, right? So x12, why I'm taking x12? Because still here 2 is there.
ఎస్ సార్.
Okay, so now I'm checking. Ramana, tell me 2 and 8. Which one is the least value?
2, sir. We have to allocate 2.
One we have to allocate.
2, sir.
Allocate 2, close, and it becomes 6. Now
Yes, sir.
see here, 6 plus 2, 8. There is
Yes,
no
sir.
possibility. The supply of this particular F1 is 8. Condition fulfilled. Then cross this particular row.
Okay, sir.
Done? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Now, again, simple. Next, first one over, right? Now again, you are going to be start with the 2x22. Why x21? Why you are not taking x21?
Because we
Because-
can't allocate anything.
Yes,
Anything.
Because we cannot allocate here because it was already fulfilled. So now leftover is x22. So now Ramana, tell me,
We have to allocate 6, sir,
why 6?
because it is least.
Yes, exactly. Now when you are allocating 6 here,
It
right,
will be
becomes
4, sir. Here 0.
now 6 to 8 done. So cross this one. There is no possibility here,
Okay, sir.
right? Now next 4, that is x23.
Yes, sir.
So 4, 9. Which one is the least value?
4, sir. We have to allocate 4. We have to subtract
4, subtract here. It becomes
0.
this
It
becomes
becomes
Here?
5, sir.
5.
5, sir.
Okay. Now 6 plus
6
4.
plus 4, 10, sir.
So cross this one.
Yes, sir.
Now we have only 7, 2.
Yes, sir.
Now 7. Okay. 5, 20. Which one is the least value?
5, sir. We have to allocate 5.
We have to allocate 5. Then it becomes 15. So 5 plus 4, 9. Done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
no,
sir.
because it
0.
only left over only 2. So it becomes 0. So no need to cross. Now we have here only 15. 15, 15. Allocate 15 here. That's it. Your problem is done. So why it is called northwest corner? We started from north and we ended with the west. So it is called northwest corner method. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now to calculate total transportation cost, right, which is where it was allocated, x11, x12, x22, x23, x33, x34, right? So which is 2 into 6 plus 3 into 2 plus 3 into 6 plus 4 into 4 plus 7 into 5 plus 2 into 15. Can you know the value? 2 6 are 12, 3 2 are 6, 3 6 are 18, 4 4 are 16, 7 5 are 35, 2 15 are 30. So total, any one of you? 12, 6, 18, 16, 35, 30. Is it 117?
117.
Yeah. 117, 117. Right? So this is your answer under northwest corner method. Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Right? So with this we'll stop here itself and we'll continue remaining concepts in the next class. Okay. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Fine. So we'll meet afternoon 2 to 3 in the BRM class. Okay. Rest of the concepts with respect to QABD we'll discuss in the next class tomorrow, that is 10 to 12. Okay. Right. Shall we stop?
Right, sir. Okay, sir.
So if you have any doubts, please ask me. No, right?
No, sir.
Fine. Okay.